We're reading through the book of 1 Samuel, and today we're in Samuel chapter 10 to chapter 12. 1 Samuel chapter 10 to chapter 12. This is Read the Bible in 1 Year. My name is David, and welcome if this is your first time. I'd ask you and encourage you to subscribe because we're going to come out with these videos every single day pretty much, unless there's a break. You could check out the guide that shows where the breaks are so that you can catch up on something, or just, again, take a break, take a breather. Not that you need it, but we're going to read through the Bible, Genesis to Revelation, before December 31st, okay? So if you stick with me, I'm going to take you over there. I'm going to help you get there. And I'm doing this for me too, okay, by the way. And I actually record this for my wife and son to be able to listen to in the morning too. So anyway, if you hit the notification bell, you'll know also when the video drops. It's usually 5 a.m. in the morning. I've got some friends who are up that early, and so they would rather see it that early. I love doing that for them. So anyway, 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1 in the NIV. Let me know by the end of the video what sticks out to you, because that's the stuff that I'm really curious about. That's the stuff that I want to hear from. I know I do a lot of talking here. I try to speak as the Spirit gives me insight, or as I remember things, or both. But I want to know what you know, or I want to know what you want to say too. Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for giving us your word. God, we worship you. You're deserving. You are so glorious and holy. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. 1 Samuel chapter 10, verse 1. Then Samuel took a flask of olive oil and poured it on Saul's head and kissed him, saying, "Has not the Lord anointed you ruler over his inheritance?" Now this is right after Samuel and Saul meet the first time, and essentially Samuel says to Saul, like, I've got to do something for you the next day. And so this is the next day, I think, and he anoints him as the first king of Israel. And this is after God basically says, Samuel, don't worry, they haven't rejected you. They've actually rejected me. This is God saying they've rejected me as their king because they wanted the king. They wanted a king like everybody else around them. So God's like, okay, this whole time I thought that's the relationship we had. I thought I was your king. Obviously, God knew what was in their hearts, but I was supposed to be your king, and now you want to choose a king for yourself like all the nations around you. So this is where we're at today. Verse 2, when you leave me today, you will meet two men near Rachel's tomb at Zelzah on the border of Benjamin. They will say to you, the donkeys you set out to look for have been found, and now your father has stopped thinking about them and is worried about you. He's asking, what shall I do about my son? Then you will go on from there until you reach the great tree of Tabor. 3 men going up to worship God at Bethel will meet you there. One will be carrying 3 young goats, another 3 loaves of bread, and another a skin of wine. They will greet you and offer you 2 loaves of bread, which you will accept from them. After that, you will go to Gibeah of God, where there is a Philistine outpost. As you approach the town, you will meet a procession of prophets coming down from the high place with lyres, timbrels, pipes, and harps being played before them, and they will be prophesying. The Spirit of the Lord will come powerfully upon you, and you will prophesy with them, and you will be changed into a different person. Once these signs are fulfilled, do whatever your hand finds to do, for God is with you. Go down ahead of me to Gilgal. I will surely come down to you to sacrifice burnt offerings and fellowship offerings, but you must wait 7 days until I come to you and tell you what you are to do. As Saul turned to leave Samuel, God changed Saul's heart, and all these signs were fulfilled that day. When he and his servant arrived at Gibeah, a procession of prophets met him. The Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he joined in their prophesying. When all those who had formerly known him saw him prophesying with the prophets, they asked each other, what is this that has happened to the son of Kish? Is Saul also among the prophets? A man who lived there answered, and who is their father? So it became a saying, is Saul also among the prophets? After Saul stopped prophesying, he went to the high place. Now Saul's uncle asked him and his servant, where have you been? Looking for the donkeys, he said. But when we saw they were not found, we went to Samuel. Saul's uncle said, tell me what Samuel said to you. Saul replied, he assured us that the donkeys have been found, but he did not tell his uncle what Samuel had said about the kingship. Samuel summoned the people of Israel to the Lord at Mizpah and said to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I brought Israel up out of Egypt, and I delivered you from the power of Egypt and all the kingdoms that oppressed you. But you have now rejected your God. who saves you out of all your disasters and calamities. And you have said, no, appoint a king over us. So now present yourselves before the Lord by your tribes and clans. So straight up, Samuel says, you are rejecting God as your king. Do you realize what you're doing? This is what you're doing by asking for a king, a human king, like the nations around you. You're rejecting God, who was the one who saved you out of all your disasters and calamities. And he even told them too, like, this is what your king is going to do to you in the future. And they still said, no, we still want a king. We still want a king like all the other nations. Verse 20, when Samuel had all Israel come forward by tribes, the tribe of Benjamin was taken by lot. Then he brought forward the tribe of Benjamin clan by clan, and Matri's clan was taken. Finally, Saul, son of Kish, was taken. But when they looked for him, he was not to be found. So they inquired further of the Lord, has the man come here yet? And the Lord said, yes, he has hidden himself among the supplies. So imagine this. Saul, a head taller than most people, is what it says. A head taller of everybody is what it said. He's handsome, and he looked like a king. He looked the part. But when push came to shove, the courage wasn't there. The confidence wasn't there. And I'm not saying the courage and confidence is everything, but it certainly is an indicator for your readiness for the moment. Your readiness for the moment that, again, God blessed him with. Like, this is such a huge blessing to basically be the second in terms of hierarchy to God, right? Like, it's God and then the king and then everybody else. So what an honor to be the king of all Israel. And yet here Saul is afraid. I mean, again, it's not unfathomable to feel that pressure, to feel like you're going to cave in under all that pressure, especially being the first king of Israel. So to me, I think I can imagine it, what he was thinking, what he was feeling, but at the same time, it at least goes to show that looks, appearance, height, clearly, is not everything, right? If you look the part, fine, good, maybe even great in some cases, but it's not everything. So the Lord said, yes, he has hidden himself among the supplies. They ran and brought him out. So they even had to bring him out, okay? He wasn't going to willingly come out himself from the hiding. And as he stood among the people, he was a head taller than any of the others. Again, there you go. Samuel said to all the people, do you see the man the Lord has chosen? There is no one like him among all the people. Now, Samuel, I feel, in reading that, maybe I'm interpreting this wrong. Samuel, I feel like, was a little cheeky with that, I guess if I could use that term. It's almost like he's saying, this is going to blow up in your face. Okay, that's my interpretation. I don't necessarily think that that's what it has to mean, but I can sense that Samuel and God are like on this page of like, all right, you guys are asking for it. This is what's going to happen. Okay, you're still asking for it. Well, here you go. Isn't he great? That it gave that kind of vibe. So I'm not going to say that that's how he meant it, but I would feel a certain way if I was Samuel. And of course, if I was God too, I would feel a certain way about people rejecting me. And so Samuel, I feel, has a little bit of this, like, it takes a jab at him. Like, you see, the man the Lord has chosen, there's no one like him among all the people, right? It kind of felt like that. Then all the people shouted, long live the king. So they bought into it. Like, even after all that Samuel warned them about, they bought into it so quick. Samuel explained to the people the rights and duties of kingship. He wrote them down on a scroll and deposited it before the Lord. Then Samuel dismissed the people to go to their own homes. Saul also went to his home in Gibeah, accompanied by valiant men whose hearts God had touched. But some scoundrels said, how can this fellow save us? They despised him and brought him no gifts. But Saul kept silent. Again, new position, makes sense. Huge responsibility to be king. Makes sense that, like, he probably has zero idea. He doesn't really have an idea about how to be a king. Okay, 1 Samuel chapter 11. Nahash the Ammonite went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said to him, make a treaty with us, and we will be subject to you. But Nahash the Ammonite replied, I will make a treaty with you only on the condition that I gouge out the right eye of every one of you, and so bring disgrace on all Israel. The elders of Jabesh said to him, Give us 7 days so we could send messengers throughout Israel. If no one comes to rescue us, we will surrender to you. Which is kind of a weird agreement to agree to, would you say? Like, you've already got them surrounded. You've already, right? It's surrounded, right? Yeah, you've already almost brought them to submission, and they ask for 7 days, and you're just going to give it to them? Cool, I guess, if that's how it worked back then. Verse 4, when the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and reported these terms to the people, they all wept aloud. But just then Saul was returning from the fields behind his oxen, and he asked, "What is wrong with everyone? Why are they weeping?" Then they repeated to him what the men of Jabesh had said. When Saul heard their words, the Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he burned with anger. He took a pair of oxen, cut them into pieces, and sent the pieces by messengers throughout Israel, proclaiming, "This is what will be done to the oxen of anyone who does not follow Saul and Samuel." Then the terror of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out together as one. When Saul mustered them at Bezek, the men of Israel numbered 300,000, and those of Judah 30,000. And then they told the messengers who had come, "Say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, by the time the sun is hot tomorrow, you will be rescued." When the messengers went and reported this to the men of Jabesh, they were elated. They said to the Ammonites, "Tomorrow we will surrender to you, and you could do to us whatever you like." The next day, Saul separated his men into 3 divisions. During the last watch of the night, they broke into the camp of the Ammonites and slaughtered them until the heat of the day. Those who survived were scattered so that no 2 of them were left together. The people then said to Samuel, "Who was it that asked, shall Saul reign over us? Turn these men over to us so that we may put them to death." But Saul said, "No one will be put to death today, for this day the Lord has rescued Israel." Then Samuel said to the people, "Come, let us go to Gilgal and there renew the kingship." So all the people went to Gilgal and made Saul king in the presence of the Lord. There they sacrificed fellowship offerings before the Lord, and Saul and all the Israelites held a great celebration. 1 Samuel 12. Samuel said to all Israel, "I have listened to everything you said to me and have set a king over you. Now you have a king as your leader. As for me, I am old and gray, and my sons are here with you. I have been your leader from my youth until this day. Here I stand. Testify against me in the presence of the Lord and his anointed. Whose ox have I taken? Whose donkey have I taken? Whom have I cheated? Whom have I oppressed? From whose hand have I accepted a bribe to make me shut my eyes? If I have done any of these things, I will make it right." "You've not cheated or oppressed us," they replied. "You've not taken anything from anyone's hand." Samuel said to them, "The Lord is witness against you, and also his anointed is witness this day, that you have not found anything in my hand." "He is witness," they said. Then Samuel said to the people, It is the Lord who appointed Moses and Aaron and brought your ancestors up out of Egypt. Now then, stand here, because I am going to confront you with evidence before the Lord as to all the righteous acts performed by the Lord for you and your ancestors." After Jacob entered Egypt, they cried to the Lord for help, and the Lord sent Moses and Aaron, who brought your ancestors out of Egypt and settled them in this place. But they forgot the Lord their God, so he sold them into the hand of Sisera, the commander of the army of Hazor, and into the hands of the Philistines and the king of Moab, who fought against them. They cried out to the Lord and said, "We have sinned, we have forsaken the Lord and served the Baals and Ashtoreths. But now deliver us from the hands of our enemies, and we will serve you." Then the Lord sent Jerubbaal, Barak, Jephthah, and Samuel, and he delivered you from the hands of your enemies all around you, so that you lived in safety. But when you saw that Nahash, king of the Ammonites, was moving against you, you said to me, "No, we want a king to rule over us, even though the Lord your God was your king." Here he is again, and that's how I feel like I can kind of see what his emotions were as he was presenting Saul. Okay, clearly all the people saw that Saul was scared, that Saul was not very courageous, that he wasn't very prepared, and he knew first and foremost that they were rejecting God as their king. And I wonder how many of us reject God as our king, whether it's through the way that we idolize other people or idolize ourselves and our own purpose that we put over ourselves. How many times have we rejected God as our king? Now here's the king you have chosen, verse 13, the one you asked for. "See, the Lord has set a king over you. If you fear the Lord and serve and obey him and do not rebel against his commands, and if both you and the king who reigns over you follow the Lord your God, good. But if you do not obey the Lord, and if you rebel against his commands, his hand will be against you as it was against your ancestors. Now then, so safe to say, just because you have a king doesn't mean your issues and your problems will just go away. And you could apply that to anything, really. Just because you get the house doesn't mean your problems go away. Doesn't mean your issues go away. Just because you get married doesn't mean your problems go away. Doesn't mean your issues go away. Right? Just because you get the money doesn't mean your problems go away. Doesn't mean your issues will go away. Whatever has already been there sometimes is just elevated once you get blessed with some things. Especially money, right? Money, we say money changes people. I know that a lot of people have said money doesn't change you. It actually exposes who you really are. And I tend to lean and believe on that. And so similarly, like just because you get the next thing or you get the thing that you feel like was going to take to the next level or was going to make you better doesn't mean that the problems and the issues are all of a sudden solved. Especially if these people, the people of Israel, have haven't really taken the time to look within and assess, is there something that's wrong with us that we keep getting the blessing and favor of God and having a great relationship with God for some years, but we fall back into this worship of other idols. We fall back into this mingling with other cultures and values. Not that that's a bad thing inherently, but in the sense that they were starting to get pulled in the direction of other idols and worship other gods. What is it about us that makes us prone to that? And I thought about that for myself too as I was writing, and I'm still writing a book about how, or why rather, I keep sinning. Just taking an honest look at myself and what it is that the devil, and I say the devil, but I mean the spiritual forces of evil as well, just overall, what it is the devil is exposing in me and exploiting in me that makes me so vulnerable and weak to the things that I'm vulnerable and weak to. What is it about you? Something to, I think, reflect on. Is it not wheat harvest now? I will call on the Lord to send thunder. And okay, so let me go to verse 16. Now then, stand still and see this great thing the Lord is about to do before your eyes. Is it not wheat harvest now? I will call on the Lord to send thunder and rain, and you will realize what an evil thing you did in the eyes of the Lord when you asked for a king. So that's how I know for sure Samuel was feeling some type of way as he was presenting Saul, right? He calls it an evil thing that they did in the eyes of the Lord when they asked for a king. Verse 18, then Samuel called on the Lord, and that same day the Lord sent thunder and rain. So all the people stood in awe of the Lord and of Samuel. The people all said to Samuel, pray to the Lord your God for your servants so that we will not die. For we have added to all our other sins the evil of asking for a king. Do not be afraid, Samuel replied. You've done all this evil, yet do not turn away from the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. Do not turn away after useless idols. They can do you no good, nor can they rescue you because they are useless. For the sake of his great name, the Lord will not reject his people, because the Lord was pleased to make you his own. As for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord by failing to pray for you. And I will teach you the way that is good and right. But be sure to fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Consider what great things he has done for you. Yet if you persist in doing evil, both you and your king will perish. Amen. So the message has been really clear from the beginning. That's not a new message, what Samuel was preaching there. It's not a new message even at this point, still quite early in the Old Testament. Not a new message. If you obey the Lord, great things happen. God gives you favor and he will protect you from in front and behind and surround you. If you persist in doing evil, and obviously people make mistakes, we all sin, but he's saying if you persist, like if you insist on your way, if you insist on worshiping your gods and idolizing other things and other people or idolizing yourself even, then you and your king will perish, he says to Israel. And I think to us, it means that we will face destruction. We will face the destruction of the things that we have been blessed with. Peace, security, right? Relationship with God. I would say somewhat sanity. I don't think it's even a stretch to just say like, following Jesus keeps me sane. Following Jesus keeps me sane. Now, I know there's a lot of maybe insane Christians out there. I'm not saying there can't be some level of craziness mixed with a genuine, honest trust in Jesus, and everybody's a work in progress, so I can't discredit that they're still a work in progress. But I think if you're looking at the majority of people who actually believe in Jesus, who follow him and read the Bible and pray, they're pretty sane, okay? And I'll leave it at that. God bless you. 1 Samuel chapter 13 is next, and I'll see you then.